Problem number 4. Find an equation of the line that passes through the two given points. If possible, write the equation in slope-intercept form. Check that the graph of the equation contains the given points. Alright, so let's do the first one where we have to find the equation of the line. So this is a slope-intercept form. Let's see. Y is equal to mx plus b, and we want to find the slope and the y-intercept. So to find the slope, what we're going to do is we're going to use the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 equation to find the slope. This is called the difference quotient, and let's call this y2 and y1, x2 and x1. So the idea is that the subscripts, the 1 or the 2's, have to stay with 1 point, and then the x is the x, the y is the y. So we'll start with an 18 minus negative 26 divided by 7 minus negative 4. This becomes 18 plus 26, 7 plus 4. This becomes 44 divided by 11, which simplifies to 4. So now we have a slope. To find a y-intercept, we're going to use this equation. Let me do this in a slightly different color. We're going to use the same equation, and we're going to use what we already know to solve for b. And the way to do that is we're going to borrow one of these points. I'll say borrow because after we use it, we're going to want it in this original form with the x and a y without being replaced. Let's see, either one would work. Let's borrow the first one, negative 4 comma negative 26. And what we'll get here is when y is equal to negative 26, you have x should be equal to negative 4, and then you have that b. So we'll solve for b. Negative 26 is equal to negative 16 plus b. Let's add a 16 from both sides to both sides, and we get a negative 10. So it looks like our slope is 4, and our y-intercept is negative 10, so we have our equation of the line y is equal to 4 x plus negative 10, so let's just say minus 10. Okay. Now to check the graph that the equation contains the two given points, what we can do is we can put in the x and the y value. And tell you what, if you put the x value of negative 4 and y value of negative 26 in here, you're going to get the correct answer because that's exactly how we solve for b. But we can also check the second point to see if this will satisfy this equation. So we have y is equal to 18, 4 times x, which is equal to 7 minus 10. So if we put 18 and 7 here, we got 4 times 7 is 28. 28 minus 10 is 18. So that is in fact true. Another way to do this is to use a graphing calculator, or to use some sort of graph. If you can graph this on a graph paper, that would be great, but having a slope of 4 makes it really steep and hard to find. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my graphing calculator, and I've been using some scatter plot problems, so I want to make sure I clear that out. So I'm going to press second function and stat plot, the y equals 2, and I want to make sure everything's off. So I have one plot that is still on, so I'm just going to press 4 to turn all the plots, the statistics plots off. Now I'm going to say, just without the second function, just y equals, and I'll have a list of y's. Now if you have stuff in there, you probably want to go there and clear things out, like maybe if you had a weird combination of things here, just hit clear, and then let's graph the first one. So y is already by itself. That's the advantage of the slope-intercept form. We have y by itself over here, so I'm going to say 4. The x variable is this button over here, x t theta n. If you press that, you'll get an x. So you have 4x minus 10. Now we want a graph that includes -4, -26 in the y, 7 in the x, 18 in the y. So I'm going to set up my window to include -4. So I'm going to just go one less, and the negative sign, by the way, is this minus sign, -5. And then my max goes all the way up to 7, so I'm just going to go up to 10. In fact, I probably could have gone from -10 here. -10 to +10. And let's just say I have a scale of 1. That scale is not a big difference, so don't worry about it. The y min, we got a y value that goes down to -26, so I'm going to go to -30. And then the y max, we have the largest y value that we saw there was 18. So why don't I just jump to 20? Okay, let's graph it. So to graph it, you hit graph, and there's your graph. You got the x-intercept at -10. I hope that's -10. But to ensure what we're seeing here, let's plug in the actual value. Seem to be losing my problem here. Here's my problem. Let's plug in an x value of -4. So back to the graphing calculator. To plug in values, we can use this thing called trace. Let's hit trace. And if I move my cursor back and forth, I can move around along the x and the y axis following the line. But for this one, I'm going to hit -4. -4. Enter. And then I see that my y value is -26. Okay. So now I want to check if 7 is on that line. I'll hit 7. Enter. And then my y value is 18. And just for good measure, the y-intercept is supposed to be 10, so if I press those 0, 0 for x, and the y value should be -10. Alright, so that's a way to check using your graphing calculator.